И снова здравствуйте.
Hello again. We continue our sessions. Pavel Luzanov will speak about training and certification. Good afternoon. I come from Postgres Professional. We pay a lot of attention to education, training. I would like to speak about the new things that have taken place in this area in the past years. It was largely related to trainings for administrators, but somehow it also touched upon developers, and I'll say a few words about that as well. And the idea of having, in addition to trainings, having certification of experts would be a good thing. The certification program, well, is not available yet, so I can't really announce it. But talking about the DBA courses, when we started thinking about what an administrator in Postgres should know, we drew this schematic made of blocks of knowledge important to the administrator, and we saw there were quite a few of them. The order of those blocks is not important. What's important is that as part it's important to understand that it's not possible to put everything in one training for a person to digest all these things. So once we've looked at this picture, we started thinking of how to organize our courses and what the first course should be. How should we start the training? So on the one hand, we wanted to have this first course giving as much information to the future administrator as possible, and on the other hand, how not to go too deep into details, otherwise this course will be too long. So in the end, we developed DBA-1, DBA-10. -10 means that it is based on PostgreSQL version 10. It should certainly include installation of Postgres, deployment of Postgres. We need to explain how configuration parameters can be changed. So we're not talking about how to set up a server in the right way, but we need to explain the difference in PostgreSQL 10 and the system. And also, we understood that we had to speak about architecture of the database management system, to explain the processes on the server side, which memory portions are engaged and how all this interacts, how clients are connected, that there is a protocol between the client and the server, and how they exchange information. So all this had to be included in the course. We also wanted to say that when the users use databases, they see tables, schematics, spreadsheets, but the administrator needs to understand where to find it physically on the disk, on which files you can find it. And he or she can see all kinds of different files with weird names. If the administrator just installed the database, deployed the database, and somebody begins working with it, it's worthwhile reminding about access rights. So the course includes this topic of data, of access rights. So an administrator who just starts working with the system needs to understand how to perform the backup, and in Postgres it is especially relevant to understand how to set up replication, but we thought it shouldn't be part of the first course. But it was necessary to provide an overview of what Postgres offers in terms of backup copying, about recovery, and the difference between different types of backups, and how to set up physical and logical replication. So we shaped a 3-day course in the end. So we were able to cover some important blocks by this 3-day course, but for instance, backup copying was not included in full in that course. We have a new course. I will speak about the relationship between the old courses and the new courses. So the new course is DBA 2-10. We downloaded it to our website a week ago. It's quite detailed. We will speak about multi-version of the blocking, journaling. So those 3 words basically include a lot of details. Multi-version. We know that Postgres, when lines are deleted or changed, well, basically a new version is created. But they are related through, all versions are related through links. And we can also make snapshots of data. And we all know that there is the reverse side of the coin. The old versions of lines, they're stored in data, and we need to do the cleanup. That's why we include cleanup, and automatic cleanup to this course. And also on top, we discuss the transaction counter issues. So we start discussing vacuum, auto-vacuum, and what to do with it, but without understanding why it is done, you cannot really do it well. Journaling, it's an important thing, so we explain that as well. But to understand this, we need to explain that there is buffer cache, and where we change data, and if and we need not to lose what we had in the cache memory. So we explain the setups. So blocking is important for each administrator, and we separated it into the dedicated block in the training. So we'll speak about the memory blocking, starting from version 9.6. Some blocks in the operating memory can be monitored through certain activities. So setting and monitoring, this is the name of the course. So here we do not provide some magic recipes and explain here is what you need to do step by step. We have a different approach to it. We explain the mechanism of Postgres and make it clear which parameters affect certain mechanisms. And then administrators, so based on their individual configuration, based on their equipment and system loads, number of users, writing or reading transactions, the number of transactions per second, the administrators need to learn and to understand what they should do and how to monitor the process. They need to understand what was the impact of the changes and then adjust again in order to bring the system into the operable condition. So we also had the miscellaneous block, which includes several topics that couldn't belong to any other areas, like extension, localization, updates, from one version of Postgres to another. So the new course is a 4-day course and covered a couple of more blocks. Backup, copying, and replication. So I guess they need to be in a dedicated course. We do have it already. We developed it last year. It is DBA 3-10, and here we explain how to make backup copies, how to make the copy of the database and database cluster, and how to do replication, physical and logical. So we discuss all that as part of the course. In addition to those two modules, we offer cluster technologies discussion. Again, no magic recipe of how to build cluster on Postgres. As you all know, the Postgres itself, the DBMC, doesn't offer the creation of the cluster. To build a cluster, you need certain external solutions, and there are quite a few of them available. Our goal was to explain what a cluster is, what type of tasks we can do with a cluster, and what are the approaches to creating or building a cluster, and then provide a couple of examples. So we talk about multi-master, Patroni. Yandex has done something in that area. So there are different ways to build clusters. Distributed databases. Citus, recently acquired by Microsoft. So in the course, we discuss different approaches of how to build a cluster for you to make an informed choice. So there are two blocks remaining: optimization and queries. So this was built into another course. So you can find it on the website at the moment, but in the coming week you will have it. It is almost complete. We're just finalizing it before uploading it. It's a 2-day course titled Jupyter. What is the meaning of it? Most issues of databases are not in fine-tuning, but the application sometimes does not process queries effectively enough or efficiently enough. What does that mean, and how to cure it is a question. How to understand whether the query will work well or not. But to answer this question, you need to know a lot of things. For instance, how Postgres processes queries, what is data access, how do we connect data sets, what history does Postgres collect for the user to plan appropriately, how can we influence the way Postgres does its planning. So this is what we discuss as part of this course. We believe it's important for administrators. So it's going to be available soon. So what else do we have? SQL block. Any administrator should understand and be able to use SQL. So there is no need to understand window functions, but an administrator is supposed to know the basic things like how to write a query, for instance. So we thought this block should be the last to discuss, and we will develop the course eventually. What I can advise is a textbook of Morganov. It has been uploaded on our website. It is also available as a hard copy book. So if you lack knowledge on SQL, you can use this textbook. So this is how we decided to cover this SQL block for the time being. Let's have a look at the general picture. So these are the courses that we offer. It is made of 4 courses, 11 days in total. 11 days, so you can learn Postgres and administering for 11 consecutive days. And DBA 1 version was released in September 2015. It was based on version 9.4. In spring next year, in spring 2016, we released DBA 2, a 5-day course based on 9.5 version. So I guess we can dismiss those courses and offer the new ones with the updated versions. Development courses. So last year we did nothing on purpose. This QPT course in DBA 2, there was a number of subjects dedicated to optimization of queries. We decided to make it a separate course and now recommend it to developers as well. I believe the developers need this course more than administrators, but query optimization is the responsibility of developers. That's why it's better for developers to take this course and create optimal queries. Well, the SQL course is still missing, but we have DEV1 based on version 9.6. It hasn't been updated yet, but it's a great course, I should tell you. Together with Yegor, we were thinking whether we had to change anything in it, and thought there was nothing to change there. Maybe update to most recent versions of Postgres. If we upgraded to version 10, would have to add triggers and transient tables. When in the operator level triggers, we have table old and table new, providing access to all lines that have been changed by the operator. And it's possible to see the new and the old versions. But it's easy to update this course, and it's important functionality. If we upgrade to version 11, we could add some procedures that allow commit rollback. But for the rest, the course is just perfect.
So, well, if you take into account these 2 moments, it's completely unique. We also have Dev 2 course, but it's a conditional naming because we have some ideas what to include into it, and we do have a will to start working on it this year, but we don't know what will be the final result. Maybe we will have 3 courses eventually, but I'm hoping that this year we will start working on it. And now a couple of words about certification. Well, it's good that I don't have much time left, but certification is a right thing to be mentioned in my presentation because it will be referring to existing courses. The first certificate we are planning to issue will be called... Okay, not about naming in the beginning. Certification program will be distinctly for developers and for DBAs. Since we have DBAs courses longer, we will be issuing them in the first way. So first it will be for professionals and for moderate users. So if you go through DBA 110, you will get a professional certificate. Also, we're going to have courses on SQL language. So it will be a very typical task where you have to go through a number of questions. The interesting thing is we try to not to make it too much simple. So it's not just about picking up one right answer out of four. It's multiple choice. It's like 5 or 6, and you have to find all the right questions. So, and if you check extra questions, you will some points will be written off. So it will be very difficult to pass this test. Next level, we called it expert. And the thing about expert is that you will have to go through 3 additional tests. You can go through all 3 courses, like DBA2, DBA3, and QPT. You can go through them in any order, and you can pass tests on these courses. And the last and the final level is master. Eventually, it's not about testing, it's not about questions and answers, it's about a practical application of your knowledge and your skills. It will be a practical test. We are planning to have it in future. We will start with these 2 levels, which are professional and expert, and we will see what will happen. So that's all I wanted to tell you about certification. As far as our training centers are concerned, we have amazing training centers that are looking forward to seeing you. The certification process is like an ongoing one, and we have certificate center in Minsk, in Almaty, in Yekaterinburg and Saratov. So learn as you live, and you can get this information from our website. Of course, we understand that some people can't afford to go to a training center, but they have a will to learn something. On our website, you can find detailed information about how to attend these courses on your own. And finally, we have some unexpected opportunity. You can actually invite us to your premises. So if you can't go to our training centers, we can go to your company. So if you are ready to invite us to pay for our travel and for accommodation, we, together with Igor, will go to you and provide you with one of our courses. We did it several times over the previous years, and we are continuing doing so. For example, next week we're traveling to Tumen, and in March Yegor will go to Israel. You can actually sign up for these courses. So education section on our website contains a lot of interesting information, and should you have any questions, maybe now or tomorrow or later on, there is a secret email that and only 2 people have access to it, and you have great chances to get answer from them. Thank you. Any questions? Okay, let's take a question from the closest person. Hello, and thank you for your talk. My question is about inviting you for training. Can you tell me where we need to send our application? You can reach me out right now, or just write an email using this address, and we will go immediately to you. I'm joking. Okay, thank you. Pavel, tell me please, certificate and exams. So if I would like to have an expert certificate, first I need to pass professional exam. Yes, that's right. But can I pass professional and expert in just one, just once? It will be very difficult to do so, but you don't have to spend too much time. You can just you can do it one by one. Yep. Thank you for your presentation, and tell me please, when will this be available? That's a good question. I was ready for it, but I don't know the exact date. I am sincerely hoping that this will happen in a few months, maybe in spring or in summer or in autumn, but it's not final. My question is about hacking. Are you going to provide hacking trainings? Anastasia Lubilnikova is here and she is attending these courses. It's a very untraditional courses. It's not for users and it's not for developers. That is why our developers are doing with this. And frankly, I don't know more details about this. I can tell you there are no significant plans on it. So you can actually come to our company as intern just to learn something out of this. So we didn't see much output out of it. Yeah, I agree, because all you have to do is to learn in detail the code of Postgres. My question is, I saw your video. Are you going to publish videos on your new courses? Yes, we will do it on our website. So if you are missing some videos, it means that we just failed to record it or to digitalize it. On new courses, the plans are as follows. In April, we will have a chance to read these courses and to record it, and then we will spend some time to process it, and in a few months they will be available. One more question. In Oracle, for example, the schema is the following. First, you are passing through one course, and then you have access only to exams. What will you do with these regards? We will be more democratic. We will not require to attend our courses obligatory. It is we recommend you to attend these courses. We strongly recommend it, but we do not force you to do so. In fact, the courses are in Russian. We are using Russian terms, and the people who know experience, who has experience with Postgres, but he doesn't. Well, for example, I still have problems with the tuples. So some people do not know what auto vacuum is in Russian. We even have one very tricky 20 minutes test that is about terminology of Postgres, and we will be offering this test just to understand whether a person is ready for the real exam. And if you fail to have at least 80% of the right answers, it's not the right option to go to the real test. And that was our final question. And that was our final question, and now we will have a 30 minutes coffee break.